This is HeKnows Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. All right, HeKnows Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. I'm here with Richy Rich, and we about to keep the foot on the what? On the next. We about to keep the foot on the what? On the next. All right, Richy Rich, what's up, man? How you doing today?
What's up, man? Excited to see what topics we have lined up for today, man. Like you said, gotta keep the foot on the next, man.
Damn right. Damn right. All right, so let's get on to the first topic, man. Luka Doncic. This guy right here is on an unprecedented tear this year in the NBA. You know, this is his 20th game where he's had 25 and 5. The last players to do this feat was Michael Jeffrey Jordan, Oscar Robertson. We know Kobe Bryant had a stint when he did this. You know what I'm saying? Even LeBron James had a moment, but this guy's doing it at 20 plus games. He broke Michael Jordan's record, and now he's getting close and getting basically on the tail of Oscar Robertson. What's your take on Luka Doncic and basically his unprecedented run this year in the NBA? How do you feel about that?
And Luka Doncic, man, I knew the kid was gonna be special. Just didn't know he was gonna show this kind of potential this fast, But you gotta basically look at his upbringing, man. This kid was playing uh with grown-ups, man, in the international level.
Mm-hmm.
So he was getting all this tutelage, all this places. Basically, the type of style that he plays in when he was playing in Europe, he was playing a FIBA basketball. If you guys know how FIBA ball is played, man, there's no preferential treatment over there. Uh, defense is touted more in that type of play. It's a tougher game. This is what you all even when you used to see Team USA have to go over and play those teams in those competitions, FIBA competitions, or even the Olympics, you would see that USA, even when they bring their best of the best talent over there, you would see them having to compete a lot harder against some of these teams, man, because the style of play is different. The refs aren't looking to blow whistles for stars like that. Defense is looked as is kind of like put to the forefront instead of offense. They look at players who play defense and they reward those players. So Luka's played in a harder league. Now he's in the NBA and he's playing in this league right now where, defense is not a top priority. It's an offensive oriented league. So
Mm-hmm.
he's thriving. It's like he plays slower. He's not the most athletic guy out there. He's not the quickest guy out there, but he's one of the most craftiest guy out there. He could shoot, he could dribble, he could pass. Uh, he's this kid, man. He's phenomenal, man. At the age of 20, he looks like a savvy veteran out there because of what the international style of play has done for his game. So this is like nothing for him. So I'm excited to see what his peak is going to look like, man. Because I don't think this kid is peaked. He still has a lot of room of improvement to add to his game, man. But this kid, man, he's going to be a problem to come in this league. Only 20 years old, and he's reeling off 30-point triple doubles, 40-point. He had a 40-point triple double last night against the Detroit Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
It's remarkable, man. And it's only going to get better. He can always improve his defense. Uh, he could always prove other areas in his game because right now he's just a ball dominant player. That's what Dallas Mavericks need him to be. But imagine if he works on his post game. Imagine if he works more on his mid range game. This guy is going to be a serious problem in this league, man. He reminds me of Paul Pierce had to learn. Basically he wasn't the fastest player. He wasn't the strongest player. He wasn't the quickest player. But Paul Pierce is one of the most craftiest players in the game.
Right.
After Kobe Bryant, he was like the second best player that had footwork in the game, man. He knew his spots. You know, Luka Doncic is like that, man, where this kid knows his game. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna try to go out of his element. He knows what he's good at, and he's dominating. But what's scary is he's doing this at a young age. He's 20 years old. You know, you don't
Mm-hmm.
really see. When's the last time we seen a player at this age do the ridiculous stuff that he's doing on the floor? You rarely see that, man. You gotta if you're gonna go look in the catalog, it's great. It's all time NBA great players who done stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not you can't really name guys on your hands like that, man. It's ridiculous. So it's this is what the league needs, man. They need this infusion of talent. You know, they need these type of players, you know, to show up and show out so they can have a promising future, man. And Doncic is one of these players. So I'm looking forward to see what this kid is gonna become, man, because I like that. I like what he's doing.
So, what's your take on Tim Cotto when he screen capped the moment with Doncic throwing his arms back at the camera while Porzingis slammed the ball through? If you remember, that same move was him basically vicariously living through the Dwayne Wade moment when he did it 9 years ago with the Miami Heat with LeBron James. How did you feel about him basically paying homage to that?
I mean, it was. I see what they were trying to do there, but I think it was kind of like a reach because that the way Kristaps Porzingis dunked it, he
Mm-hmm.
dunked it. He set him up for an alley from the side. Dwayne Wade set up LeBron James as he was coming north to south. So they both were like going north to south, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and the Dwayne Wade just threw the alley. It was still a phenomenal alley oop by Luka Doncic, but I think that guy just it was kind of a reach. But
Mm-hmm.
Luka Doncic, you know, that's his favorite player, LeBron James. So I could see him trying to do something like that to try to, you know, have the pundits, the media pundits talk about something like that. And it worked in his favor. It did. So you got this guy talking about it because the way Luka walked off as he alley ooped it looked like Wade, where he had his both arms
Mm-hmm.
reached out. He looked like D Wade, but and when he after he threw the alley oop to Kristaps, when D Wade threw the alley oop to LeBron, it looks like it. But if you watch the highlights, you watch that game that they played in Mexico. Uh, Kristaps he dunked that alley oop from the side, so that's why it doesn't. The play wasn't similar. It's just the aftermath of the play looked similar, but the
Mm-hmm.
play wasn't similar.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It was nothing like Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. You know, I get on LeBron James. I get on him hard. No, nobody get on LeBron James harder than me because I like to put him at his truest and his most properest levels. But in terms of alley oop ability, Kristaps Porzingis looked like he was barely trying to alley oop the basketball. LeBron, you know what I'm saying? That's when he was in his biogenesis PED days. He lifted completely above the rim. This is when LeBron was doing what 60% from the field goal percentage. He went completely above the rim when he dunked the ball. So there was just a lot more there was just a lot more spectacle and a lot more umph behind the damn dunk. So I get it. Um, you know, your boy Luka Doncic looked like Dwayne Wade, but in terms of Kristaps Porzingis, he looked nothing like LeBron James, and we just got to keep it real there. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna give LeBron James a little credit. Kristaps Porzingis just didn't have the hop that LeBron James had. So I give Luka Doncic credit for trying to rehash it, but it had nothing to do with the way that LeBron James dunked it. So yeah, man. On to the next topic, man. Let's get on to this because Dragon Spears started something. I really want your take on it because remember I said we were gonna cover it last week. Dragon Spears said, I still haven't gotten over Tim Legler saying James Harden is a better scorer than Kobe Bryant. Low, shaking my head. Richy Rich, I need you to jump in on this because Dragon Spears said, yeah, that's too disrespectful to forget that soon. LOL, he knows his sport. He knows his sport. I think Tim should really rescind the statement and apologize. He probably knows better than it, I hope, but he said it anyways. What's your take on Tim Legler, a guy that you and I was holding off as the last leg? Him along with what's that black guy's name that was on ESPN? Remember they suspended him because of the comments that he made about the black football player? Damn, his name's gonna come to me. That dude,
Robert Parker.
Yeah, Parker.
Rob Parker.
Rob Parker. Those are the two guys that we were holding out on. The last two legs of guys that kept it authentic when it came to journalism from an NBA perspective. But Tim Legler, he fell into the LBJ Riders media. He fell into the James Harden Riders media, man. How you gonna sit here and have the gall and the audacity to say that James Harden is a better scorer than Kobe Bean Bryant? What's your take on that, man? What's your take on the disrespect for today's media and them being a prisoner of the moment and a prisoner of the second?
Yeah, Tim Legler, man, kind of, I'm disappointed in Tim Legler because he seems like the only analyst out there that makes sense most of the time when he's discussing basketball. But yeah, he's definitely got caught up in the moment, man, because I think he's just one of those analysts, one of those pundits that get tired. They always are getting fatigued with, hearing Jordan. Jordan was the past. And they wanna, or I mean, he's working for a network, man, that's trying to push that in the now agenda. They're trying to push these players. They're trying to you know how ESPN man is, man. They're not really focused on past stuff. They're focused on in the now.
Yep.
So they probably could be it could be a political thing, man, because he works for a major sports network like ESPN that's pushing that agenda. But they're probably telling him, "Hey, man, you got to talk about James Harden, man. You can't be on that Jordan wave, so talking about Jordan was the greatest of all time scorer. You gotta push this. James Harden is doing some remarkable stuff. He's not shooting a lot of throws and he's scoring a lot of these points. But James Harden is a gimmicky player, man. If you watch him, he does a lot of manipulative stuff, man, in the game. Where he's baiting the referees to call fouls, or he's playing a style of game where these NBA players they have to play. They can't really play them because they are fearful that the referee is going to call a foul, on them, for any little thing, and they don't want to be in foul trouble for their when they're playing the Rockets because it's probably players that need to be on the court. You know what I'm saying? So James Harden, he's a very annoying player to play against because the NBA refs look out for him in the regular season. So it's not like you could just come and play him any certain way. And that step back three, he's making it now. He's a very streaky player. Right now he's making that shot. So it's helping his averages right now. But next month or the month after that, he could be, just like how he started in the beginning of the season. He was shooting terrible. He's shooting abysmal. He was shooting in the mid 30s. But now in the month of November, the month of December, those averages have worked in his favor. He's making those shots now. So it looks like he's doing extremely well. But I just think that it's all about him being streaky at the moment. That's still a terrible shot for him to be taking a step back three. It's a very low percentage shot. And he's just fortunate right now. The shots is falling for him. But I think come May, come June, no, come May, come April, come May, that shot, man, that shot is not gonna fall for him when it gets harder, when the postseason games get harder, teams start to realize, that they can start game planning for him. It's not a regular season game where you're gonna see Harden on one night, and then you got to worry about the next game. You got to worry about playing a team, game plan for a team on the next game. When you're in the postseason, it's different. You're gonna see that player 4 times out of 7 tries. Whoever could get, if you can get that game to game 7, but you have a better chance to game plan for him and his team. So you're gonna be able to figure out what he's trying to do out there. But the regular season, yeah, he's gonna have these type of feats because he's playing teams one night, and it has Tim Legler, ESPN probably telling Legler, hey man, we gotta talk about Harden, we gotta pump this guy up,
Mhm.
that I feel Tim Legler, I know man, he's not that. I know he knows the game, man. I know he's not that he's not like a dunce like that. He knows the game. He knows this guy isn't a better scorer than Jordan. But it's all about politics. It's who he works for. I think they're just forcing that on him.
Yep. Yep. And Dragon Spirit said James refrauding. That's funny.
Yeah.
Me, I always call James Harden the Tony Romo, aka the Zab Judah of basketball. Extra feezy, extra cheesy, extra breezy. He finally saying something that makes sense. He said history will always repeat itself with James Harden. He always folds when it really matters. Hence, this is why I call him the Tony Romo, aka the Zab Judah, because James Harden is a front runner, man. Kobe Bryant tried to warn James Harden. He tried to tell him that way that you play basketball is not going to work in the playoffs because you play a style that's conducive to the regular season. James Harden is a regular season player. He's not what we call the real NBA season player. Let me say it again. He is a regular season player. He is not what we call the real NBA season player because he doesn't play basketball with the intentions, with the mindset of dominating the basketball when the game is on the line. He chokes. This is what Tony Romo did. He choked in pressurized situations. This is what Zab Judah did in the square circle. He choked in pressurized situations. Let me tell you the definition of a front runner. A front runner is someone that gives you all of their exploits in the beginning. This is like the definition of the hare and the turtle race. The hare is basically putting all of everything out in the beginning. But what happens in the second half of the race? The turtle's still able to go because you know why? The turtle has adopted the slow and the consistency approach. Whereas the hare is putting everything out, put all the cards out, put all of the marbles out there. And then when the time comes for them to deliver, right? Because remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. What ends up happening? They gas out. That's James Harden in the playoffs. He gasses out. Like Extra Freezy said, he is another Lou Williams. He should be a six man. Well, you're right, Extra Freezy, because when he was on the Oklahoma City Thunder, where did he come from? He came from off the bench. He wasn't even a starter. And when he was a starter, he was a third option. This is where I get the vernacular when you guys hear me say high octane beta, alpha wannabe. Do you understand what those vernacular means? It means someone who's giving you basically stats that resemble a true alpha, right? But their play on the basketball on the floor when in pressurized situations or when the game is on the line or where it matters the most, right? Where all of the marbles are displayed, they can't deliver the goods. That's James Harden. That's Stephen Curry. That's what these types of players are. Stephen Curry is just a better version of a high octane beta alpha wannabe. Because if he was a true alpha, he would have a finals MVP to validate that. But the reason why he's a higher or a hybrid version, there you go. I just created a new one, a hybrid version of what we call alpha wannabe or basically a high octane beta is because at least he can get to the finals, but he can't win. The greatest high octane beta and the greatest alpha wannabe, what's up, Beast Mode 314, is LeBron James. Because of the fact that LeBron James actually won, but he didn't win because he won. He won off of safety blankets that were provided situations for him. So he is the greatest there is when it comes to a high octane beta alpha wannabe. But James Harden is the guy that we're talking about right now. And James Harden is a player that is not a number one option. This is why the Houston Rockets have never made it to the NBA Finals. Like Dragon Spirit said, also, as everyone should have noticed, no big star wants to play with James Harden. Westbrook don't count choker, joins choker, drawn to failure, LOL, facts. Because Russell Westbrook has an alpha dog mentality, but no, Russell Westbrook has an alpha dog mentality, but he lacks the alpha dog game. James Harden has the alpha dog game, but he lacks the alpha dog mentality. So when you put both of those guys with their deficiencies together, they don't just join it together and make something of it. What ends up happening is you got, like she just said, two chokers together. And what does two chokers equal? a double choker. So look at Kevin Durant. Remember when James Harden was trying to tout him, when Kevin Durant was trying to figure out where he was going to go, if he was going to go to the Golden State Warriors, if he was going to go play for another team, et cetera, et cetera. Kevin Durant didn't go play with James Harden. You know why? Because he understood, why would I go play with a guy who not only is an alpha wannabe, aka high-octane beta, but he's a ball-dominant player? How's that going to help me out? That's basically trading a Russell Westbrook for another version of him, but in a different fashion. Kevin Durant didn't want no parts of that, man. So you know what Kevin Durant did? Kevin Durant turned around and said, I'm going to go and play with a high-octane beta alpha wannabe that at least knows how to distribute the basketball in Stephen Curry. That's what he did. And it paid off dividends for him. Because when you're a true alphas don't need to ask questions, dog. It's like a lion. A lion doesn't need to go and ask their sheep for their opinions. They go out there and get the job done. Let me say that again. A lion doesn't need to ask sheep their opinion. They don't go ask the female lions or the cubs their opinion. They go out there and get the job done because they got to roar and take care of business. That's what they got to do. Because that's what lions do. That's what true alphas do. But you got to understand the high-octane beta and the alpha wannabe syndrome. They put in their minds that they can give you alpha exploits like a James Harden, and they can't. Is James Harden putting up gaudy stats? Yes. But when has stats ever been something in basketball that we could sit there and gloss all over? Let me give you an example. And my boy Tom Ross said this, man. So shout outs to Tom Ross. He couldn't be here today. But in true alpha fashion, I'm going to basically reenact him. Here's what he says. And his vernacular. We got to separate the weak from the strong. This man turned around and said, Jerry West was a statistician, right? You about to laugh, Richy Rich, because you wasn't here when Tom Ross said this. Jerry West was a statistician, right? What was his NBA Finals record? I started laughing. He said, Wilt Chamberlain was a statistician, right? What was his NBA Finals record? LeBron James is enamored with stats. What is his NBA Finals record? James Harden is a stats guy. What has he done? Russell Westbrook is a stats guy. What has he done? Basically, what Tom Ross was trying to say was this. Everybody that's so focused on stats from a basketball perspective, their NBA Finals average or their NBA record is atrocious in terms of playoff ability. Charles Barkley was all about stats. What happened to him? He put all of those people together so that he could prove a point. When you chasing the wrong thing, you're going to give out the wrong thing. Those who focus on stats are not the greatest. It's the ones who focus on what? Winning, that's the greatest. You heard Larry Bird. When I want to win, and win again, I play with Kobe Bryant. When I want to have fun, I play with LeBron James. Because that's what stats people do. They make it fun for you. They give you the ball. They divvy it up. They make everything look good. That's James Harden. Because James Harden is giving you high point ratio, right? High assist ratio, high rebound ratio. But what happens when the game slows down in playoff pressurized basketball situations? What happens when teams actually have to play defense? All that goes out the door. There's not going to be these high display or high exploits of scoring. There's not going to be these high display or high exploits of assisting the basketball. There's not going to be these high displays or high exploits of rebounds. You know why? Because teams know how to lock in on you, because they know you're an isolation basketball player. Isolation basketball doesn't work unless you are Michael Jordan or Kobe Bean Bryant. You got to be on that level, or Kevin Durant. You know why? Because you have to have what's called a complete repertoire of footwork. You got to be able to demoralize. Richy Rich, I'm enacting the Nas Ether version of you, because what I just said then inactivated something right now. Because you know what I'm talking about. We speaking that same language right now. You have to activate that full repertoire of what we call demoralizing teams offensively. Go listen to when Charles Barkley talked about how Grant Hill put that level of defense that he put on Kobe Bryant in the Phoenix Suns. You know what Charles Barkley said? We got to defer to greatness. Alvin Gentry wanted to bow down to Kobe Bryant's greatness, because you know what happened? Alvin Gentry was like, that was some great-ass defense. Charles Barkley, that was just great defense. but it was greater offense because you got to understand there's certain players that know how to rise to the occasion. These are the players that we call true alphas. They know how to develop an ability so that they can rise to where they can, all they need is a little bit of space and they will whoop that defense. They will whoop down when you slow it down. You know why? Because they know how to speed it up just a little bit faster than what the defense is giving them. Whew, what I said was so deep and profound. I need to rewind this because this needs to marinate in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. Hear me and hear me well. These guys play basketball at just a speed. It's like, you know how when you slow something down, Richy Rich, right? You slow it down to 1 time, right? But you know how you speed it up to 2 times and then 4 times, 8 times. You know what I'm talking about, right? You fast forward. These teams are playing at 1 time. Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, Michael Jordan are playing at 2 times. Sometimes they play at 4 times. Sometimes they play at 8 times. This is the demoralization that they do when they have to demoralize you. They make teams quit. They make them wave the white flag. You know why? Because they hit cutthroat basketball after cutthroat basketball after cutthroat basketball. What's the vernacular that you always use in these terms, Richard? When we talk about basketball, those shots that you make, you know that term you like to use. I'm giving you the floor right now. You know that term that you like to use. What's that term that you like to use? You used to use it with Dwayne Wade. That type of shot that you do, it basically takes everything out of the defense. What's it called?
Impactful shots.
There you go.
Yeah. Impactful. They got to be impactful. If it's not, then it's not killing anyone.
Exactly. Because what impactful shots do is they demoralize you. James Harden does not have this ability. So how dare Tim Legler? I'm going to do it again. How dare Tim Legler, dog? And that's why it goes back to Dragon Spears. And I understand where she's coming from because I'm just as frustrated, man. I'm sorry that I don't win in the HeKnows sport preaching and teaching mode, but I had to do this. So get the notepads out and get to the damn scribbling. I'm sick and tired of this media today in basketball that are prisoners of the moment and prisoners of the second. Because all they want to do is talk about what's in front of them and forget that there's levels of greatness that's better than them. Didn't Meek Mill say this? There's levels to this stuff. There's gears. Tim Legler, you played in the NBA. So how dare you, man? You've been around NBA legends. You've been around the Larry Birds of the world. You've been around the Michael Jordans of the world. You've seen greatness personified on a level that's redunculous. So how you going to turn around and say that James Harden is better than Kobe Bryant in terms from a scoring aspect? Do you not remember that Kobe Bryant put up 81 points? Do you not remember that Kobe Bryant still has the record of 62 points in 29 minutes and 36 seconds of basketball? Let me say it again. 29 minutes and 36 seconds of basketball. Kobe Bryant scored 62 points. He outscored a whole Dallas Mavericks team. Do you understand how many points that Dallas Mavericks team scored? They scored 61. Kobe scored 62. Richy Rich, you got to tell me, man. I need you to give me your second opinion on this, dog. Why did Tim Legler fall into that LeBron James or that new media NBA nonsense into where he put himself into this realm to where he could sit here and talk about this James Harden writers media nonsense of James Harden is a better scorer than Kobe Bryant? What happened? Do you think he got an extra paycheck? Do you think they just gave him money under the table? Do you think that he restructured his contract so that they could tell him that now you have to compromise? What is it, man? Talk to me, man.
Hey, just like Dragon Spears just wrote, man, just now, Dragon Spears put, it's hard to tell who at ESPN Sports News are really that foolish or just lying because the producer said to sometime. Like I said, man, Tim Legler can't be that idiotic because he knows, man, James Harden, unlike Kobe, Jordan, KD, these guys operate all over the floor. That means that they can give you buckets all over the floor. They operate from all over the floor. James Harden's game is so obvious. Either he's shooting a step back 3 or he's driving to the hole trying to get a foul, or he gets the layup or the dunk. But when he's driving, he's definitely trying to manipulate the referees. So it's either a 3-point shot or it's driving to the hole to either finish or bait the referee to call a foul. His game is so obvious and easy to dissect. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you're someone that at least tries to play a lick of defense, and you know you're able to key in on what Harden is doing, you're gonna be successful against him because he doesn't operate all over the floor. He doesn't shoot mid range shots. He hasn't shown any semblance of a post game. I mean, I don't know what this guy's been doing. He's damn near in year 7, year 8, and he hasn't shown this in his game, man. Like he keeps playing the same game every year, and
Mm-hmm.
every year he fails. He runs into a brick wall because that style of game doesn't work in the postseason. I just Tim Legler, man. Like I said, it has to be the big wigs and the producers that run ESPN that are telling him to push this agenda, man, because they're just tired of talking about the past players, man, because these guys are done. They're not playing anymore. It's the now. It's the guys that are in front of us playing. Let's talk about them. Let's pump them up. Let's be prisoners of the moment. That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what it has to be.
Exactly. Now, let's jump into and fast forward into the next topic. The Philadelphia 76ers. I got to talk about this, man. And I know a lot of people have been feeling like this. Ben Simmons should be having a Giannis Antetokounmpo season. He obviously did not work on his jump shot. What's up, Doug Banks? Salute to you, man. This guy absolutely, stats-wise, it went down. He's having a down year for a guy who's supposed to be trending forward. I don't know if it's because he signed with, you know what I'm saying, Clutch Sports. I don't know if it's because he thinks that he's in with LeBron James, that he doesn't have to try as hard. I mean, I just feel like there's a combination of things. I don't know if it's with the Kardashians, you know what I'm saying, and it's just slowing him down. I don't know what's going on, man. But there's a lot of stuff here. When you sit here and you look at it and you're like, Ben Simmons, the Philadelphia 76ers, we sat here and we said that the Philadelphia 76ers were supposed to be on par, and they were supposed to be on the same queue with the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks are on a 15-game win streak. This is unprecedented what they did in the regular seasons thus far. But then when you sit there and you look at the Philadelphia 76ers, yeah, they're number 3 in the East, but it's a disappointing number 3. I at least expected them to be at least number 2, because when I looked at the Eastern Conference prior to the season started, I said the two teams that's going to battle it out is going to be between the Philadelphia 76ers and it's going to be between the Milwaukee Bucks. Those are the two teams that I said. And when I sat there and looked at the totality of it, I was like, Ben Simmons, everybody was telling me, look at the jump shot that he's shooting at Rico Hines. He's working on his jump shot. Look at the jump shot that he's shooting, you know what I'm saying? And pick up basketball. And I told them that's pick up basketball. That's Rico Hines. That's not the NBA. That's not NBA games. I'm not seeing him putting it up. And here's the thing. This was laughable. I know someone pointed out to me, oh, but he's shooting 40% from the 3. Yeah, here's the thing, Richy, and you're going to laugh. He's shooting 40% from the 3 off of 0.2 attempts. Did you hear what I just said? 0.2 attempts. Don't make me laugh with that, man. And then let's get to Joel Embiid. This is a guy that I held in high regard. Joel Embiid was a guy that I sat there and I told myself he was going to be a borderline Akeem Olajuwon. What happened to that dude? Gain weight, just like Nikola Jokic, right? Then he turned around and he's scoring 4.8 points less than he did last year. His rebounds are down. Field goal percentage is down. His assist is down. I mean, what's going on with these two guys, man? I'm telling you right now, Richy Rich, I'm telling myself, and I'm like Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley, like they did it inside the NBA, I'm going to get in both of their asses. They need to get in line and get in gear, or the Philadelphia 76ers, they need to blow this thing up. That's where I'm at with it. I'm giving these guys 2 more years. You know why? Because Joel Embiid is 25 and Ben Simmons is what, 22, 23? So I'm giving these guys 2 more years. And in 2 more years, if I'm seeing the consistency of mediocrity, then I'm telling the Philadelphia 76ers to blow that thing up. What's your take on Ben Simmons and freaking Joel Embiid having this underperforming season, man?
Oh, you address me. He knows.
Yeah, I'm addressing you.
Okay, yeah, like I said, man. We talked about this last week. Uh, about the Philadelphia 76ers and how disappointing they were so far this season. And yeah, like I said, man, they they disappointed me, but I kind of expected this because of the players they lost that they don't
Mm-hmm.
have on that team. They lost Jimmy Butler, they lost JJ Redick. You know, they retained Tobias Harris, but that guy's been a disappointment this year. They gave this guy a max contract, but this guy is an up and down player. You know, he's considered a guy that has all-star potential, but I haven't really seen that from him. You know, they have no closer. They have no guy that they can go to. You know, when the game comes down, then they need the guy that can get them buckets. You know, that was supposed to be Jimmy Butler, but now he's on the Miami Heat. You know, Miami Heat are doing some good things. You know, they're the second best team in the Eastern Conference. You know, but that's another topic. You look at the 76ers, I was looking on Joel Embiid to be the big time guy. You know, he came into this offseason, he lost 25 pounds. He lost 25 pounds. And I was expecting him to go hard this season. You know, but he's been having issues in this game. He's been having issues so far in this season. He's been having issues so far this season. And you know, he hasn't been playing up to his potential. You know, this is why Shaq and Charles Barkley called him out. You know, they're deservingly so because this guy Joel. This is why Joel Embiid, man. You know, he had to, you know, actually say those guys were right when they criticized him. They heavily critiqued this game because I was expecting Joel Embiid to have a leap so far this season, but you know, he came out yesterday and he had an impactful game against the Celtics. They won. He dropped 38. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but you that's the thing with this guy, man. You don't know if he's serious or if he's not, because he's always, you know, you saw he got into that issue with the dude on the Minnesota Timberwolves, Towns. You know, like he didn't have to do that, but I get it, you know. But you know, he's a player. He has to be a lot more serious, especially seeing how last year how they were so close to getting to Eastern Conference Finals. You know, when Kawhi hit that game-winning shot in that Game 7, that was a tough series, man. I was looking at Philadelphia. I was like, man, Kawhi really had to ball out this series and hit a game-winning shot in that Game 7 because that Philadelphia team had numbers, man. And I knew they weren't going to be an easy feat for that Toronto Raptors. Uh,
Fact.
Leonard, he had to really go in, man, in his bag to win that series. I was like, man, if Philadelphia retains these players, they're gonna be a problem, man. But
Mm-hmm.
they lost those guys. You know, they picked up Josh Richardson. They picked up some guys that, you know, some iffy guys, you know, not guys that are, you know, consistent. So it's really gonna hedge on Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid on what players they're gonna become this season. And so far, they're a disappointment. That's
Fact.
how you gotta look at it. They've lost games so far this season that they shouldn't have lost. They've looked like they've regressed at times, you know. So it's we got to see, man. Shaq and Charles Barkley called out Joel Embiid. Now I'm going to pay attention to what Joel Embiid does so far this season because that I'm glad they singled him out and they called him out because those guys. Shaq is a dominant big, you know. Barkley was a dominant forward in his heyday. So they just do. They like, man, you don't look like that true big man like you supposed to look like, man. You out here playing soft. You're not here playing at your potential. Like Shaq said, this dude should be easily putting up 28 and 13, easy, because he's dominant. He got moves like Hakeem Olajuwon. Plus he could shoot. You know, there's no reason why this dude should not be out here dominating, winning games. I remember that game against Toronto a few weeks ago. This dude went 0 for 11. He didn't
Facts.
score a point. Come on, man. You out here playing around. you saying the process, this is this and that, but you out here you getting shut down by old Microsoft. Come on,
Mm,
man, I can't take Joel Embiid seriously right now. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? Ben Simmons, this is a league where point guards, but whether you're a point guard, shooting guard, you have to shoot. You can't get away in this league not being able to shoot, especially if you're an all-star level player. This guy made the all-star last season, in his second year. First year he didn't play, so second year was really his rookie season. And now he's in his this is his fourth season. This man made the all-star in his third season, not not being able to shoot. He can do other things. He can rebound the ball. He can assist, but he can't shoot. You're not going to be able to get by in this league as an all-star level player. You can't shoot, especially at the point guard position. Rondo, players like Rajon Rondo was able to get by because of who he had around him when he was on the Boston Celtics. He had Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, KG. All those guys could shoot the ball from certain areas on the floor.
mm-hmm.
Ben Simmons don't got that kind of talent on the Philadelphia 76ers to make him be able to escape not shooting the ball, man. He only has Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris. That's not enough. So this guy's gonna have to raise his level of play if the Philadelphia 76ers want to be to make a noise out there. Personally, I think that conference is Milwaukee's to lose. But we'll see. Maybe Philadelphia might make a trade, or one of these other teams might make a trade to catch up to the Bucks. But as of now, the Bucks own that conference. I don't think the 76ers presently constructed have a chance to beat that team. And I don't think these other teams have enough art in their arsenal to go toe to toe with the Bucks in a game series. That's my take on it.
Okay. All right. Here's the thing, man, and this is the thing that people need to understand. I just sent it. All right. Here's the thing that people gotta understand, and this is what's appalling. I'm glad that Shaquille O'Neal and I'm glad that Charles Barkley called him out. You know why I'm glad that they called him out? Because they needed to. And you know why they needed to? Because the truth of the fact of the matter is this, and it's really simple. Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal come from that old school cloth of you got to put in work and you got to improve and you got to show that you are a big man down low. Charles Barkley played like that. Shaquille O'Neal played like that. Joel Embiid has footwork that is nothing like we've seen since Akeem Olajuwon, man. This is why I'm disappointed in him, because last year was his coming out party, man. Almost averaging 28 points per game, almost averaging 14 rebounds. This man was killing it. You know what I'm saying? He was doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you, Lewis. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Just finished a live stream between the Lakers and Heat, man. Game was lit. Came down to the last second shot. Lakers won 113-110. Salute to Richy Rich and salute to you, HeKnows, and salute to the chat, man. What's going on, everybody?
Salute, man. Salute, man. We talking the Philadelphia 76ers. We also talking basically Ben Simmons, and we're talking Joel Embiid, and basically the two of those guys and why they're underperforming. You know what I'm saying? Because we expected them to be that team that was going to compete right there toe to toe with the Milwaukee Bucks. But Ben Simmons, his points, his rebounds, his assists, I mean, everything about him speaks a guy that's just comfortable, like he's been in the league 15 plus years. When you look at Joel Embiid, he had to get yelled at by damn near Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley on Inside the NBA, man. I mean, what's your take on those two guys, man, and them just basically underperforming, man? Do you just feel like they just got comfortable? You know, because I'm on this extreme approach. Like, if they don't figure it out in 2 years, they're going to have to blow this thing up.
Well, first of all, I've been very disappointed with both Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. As a matter of fact, what's getting me upset was the Sixers tanked for so long they get these top draft picks. You get Ben Simmons and then you get Joel Embiid. And you're looking at these two guys and you're like, man, this team is the future. This team is the future. And these guys are definitely going to be the future of the NBA with the talent that these guys have. I mean, Ben Simmons was being compared to LeBron. This dude was playing in the post in college. Joel Embiid is looking like a Hakeem Olajuwon prototype. And both of them have failed miserably because even if Embiid and Simmons have given you numbers, my issue with both of them is they're bearing no impact on the game. And if you look at the way they play, it's just like they're just happy to be playing basketball. It's like I don't see a team that's like dedicated to be trying to win. It's funny because Jimmy Butler even talked about it when he was saying when he questioned the work ethic of Cat and Andrew Wiggins. He kind of was doing the same thing with these guys in Philadelphia. He said he felt like these guys really just didn't want to win. And if you look at Ben Simmons the last couple of years, he's been putting all this offseason work on his jump shot, but he's only taken 2 3-pointers this year. And yeah, they're talking about he's at 100% or whatever, but it's like, to me, he's still not confident and he's still trying to play the same way that he's been playing, thinking that he's going to get away with that. And you got to understand something. Stephen A. Naismith has been saying that the Sixers are going to make the NBA Finals, but yet this team has failed. Mm-hmm. They got lucky. Unfortunately for them, Kawhi got the fortuitous bounce in that jump shot that knocked them off. And I said, Embiid, I'm like, you know what? He was crying. I said, you know what? Maybe he cares. Maybe he's going to come back better. His numbers are down from last year. He's down 5 points less than he was last year. And the thing is, you got called out by 2 all-time great big men just to play better. And this guy literally said, you know what? He was like, you know what? I guess I need Charles Barkley and Shaq to be coaching me. No, you don't, bro. You really don't. Because for all the trolling that you do, for how much time you spend on the media, and this is the same thing with Ben Simmons and because, I mean, he is with a Jenner, by the way. I just feel like these guys are not focused. They look like they lack focus. Mm-hmm. And that's what's been more disappointing with this team. And the thing is, they've lost pieces. They lost J.J. Redick. You lost, Jimmy Butler. You lost some toughness and you lost some 3-point shooting. I mean, yeah, they just got a couple of wins, but it's like, I've been very disappointed. And I think if they don't show, if they don't win in the next probably 1 or 2 seasons, I agree with you. They need to blow this team up. They need to blow it up. And in my opinion, Brett Brown, the coach, he's got to go. I have not liked the way he's coached this team. I'm sorry. He's been treating Ben Simmons. He doesn't really give him tough love. He treats him like a son. And it's like, you need to get on his ass. Okay. And realize that you need to, at this point, you need to get better, bro. It's like Ben is just content with the way he plays, and it's just not a big deal. And that's what's really got me disappointed about this team, especially with all the hype that they've gotten about being a finals contender. So sorry about that, man.
Nah, it's good, man. Damn, Skippy, Lewis. Get him, dog. It's been a minute, man. I'm glad you back here cooking, man, because you cooking today, bro. Hey, I want you to recap. You going to cook for a little minute because I need you to recap because we talked about Luka and his historic and his unprecedented run at 25-5, 20 games. You know what I'm saying? This guy's getting ready to be on par to break Oscar Robertson. What's your take on that? And then on the other topic that we were talking about, the Tim Legler foolery of him having the audacity to say that James Harden is a better scorer than Kobe Bryant, man. The floor is yours, bro.
Oh my God. First of all, Tim Legler is a Kobe Bryant hater, and that's been evident for years now. But before I get to Tim Legler on Kobe Bryant, and I got much respect for Tim as an analyst. He definitely knows basketball. Let me get to Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is special. Mm-hmm. He's special. People need to understand that this guy, he's been watching American basketball. This is why this is why he's been able to translate into the NBA very easy. And he said it. He said, playing in this league is very easy. He's been watching these guys play since he was young. He's been playing professional since he was in his teenage years. So he picked up the game very quick. And if you look at Luka's moves, a lot of his moves are from a lot of these players in America. You look at his step back. You look at the way that he drives the basketball. You look at the way that he passes the basketball. I mean, Luka is he's an excellent floor general. And the thing is, the crazy part is he has a high basketball IQ and he's not even 21 years old yet. And his IQ to me is only going to get better. My only knock on Luka is he has a tendency to take a lot of step back 3-pointers. And he falls in love with that jump shot sometimes a lot. Well, more so the threes. But as his game grows, what this guy is doing is impressive. I mean, we marvel at it. He's the biggest reason why the Dallas Mavericks are in the position that they are. And this is just he has better numbers this year. And the fact that he's about to break Oscar Robertson's 20.5 rebound, 5 assist record, it's astounding. And the brother's not even 21 years old. And the Dallas Mavericks are third in the Western Conference. And this is just after missing the playoffs the year before. You know, just getting and having Porzingis back. And the crazy part is Porzingis is getting himself back into the flow to really be that co-star that really Luka needs. So for the Mavericks to be 16-7 with Porzingis not playing his best and Luka really much controlling the offense it's been nothing short of amazing. And that's why he's in the running for MVP. And if he can somehow get the Mavericks to stay at that top 3 spot, he has a strong, considerable case for the MVP this season. Right. And he's definitely an all-star this year. And that's major props. When you got the Clippers, when you got the Lakers at the top 2 spots right now with the way they're playing, and Luka Doncic has got the Mavericks over some other teams that we expected to be up there, like the Nuggets, the Jazz, the Blazers, the Spurs, even though they haven't played up to par this season, it's been nothing short of spectacular, man. And we got to give Luka Doncic his credit. He came in even better. I mean, one of the key things, he lost weight. So you even see a little bit of more burst of speed. And he's shown an ability to even change speeds. He's learned to slow it down and even speed it up. He's not the fastest, but he's very deceptive and he's very crafty. That's what makes him special. And he can read the defense, and he can break down the defense not even being the fastest guy. It's because of this. It's because of what he sees on the floor. And so that's why Luka Doncic to me is like he's been nothing. And Luka's been one of my favorite players to watch. And I've done some of his games already. And you guys can check it out on my Basketball Lives, man. But Luka Doncic has been fun to watch. Now, let me get to Tim Legler over here, man, because I'm about to cook this dude right now. And the thing is, I got nothing but respect for Tim because Tim is he knows his basketball. Tim analyzes the game very well, and I appreciate anytime he does his analysis when he's breaking down teams' play. But to sit here and say that James Harden is a better scorer than Kobe Bryant and he's been the best since MJ, I got a huge problem with that. Yep. Because number one, listen, I get that James Harden is very good at manipulating the referees. I get it that James Harden averages free throws per game. James Harden is talented. I've never said that the brother was not talented because he is. My problem is when you look at the way that he scores the basketball, he's very dependent of the free throw line. When you look at guys like Jordan and Kobe, yeah, they got their free throw attempts, but they can go games where they don't attempt as many free throws and they can still give you 50. They can still give you 60. I'm not saying that those guys haven't had those kind of games, but James Harden is, like I said, the media has built him up so much as well because he's another guy. Mike D'Antoni and Daryl Morey have ruined James Harden, in my opinion, because Mike D'Antoni has allowed Daryl Morey to get into this analytics. I said the isolation basketball, shooting too many threes that James Harden does, especially on his step backs. It's taken away from the fact that James Harden really doesn't move without the basketball. James Harden could be shooting more threes off the catch, and I've seen James Harden actually shoots pretty well when he gets the ball off the catch. He just doesn't do it enough. And Tim Legler has hated Kobe Bryant for a long time. I mean, he's one of those dudes. Like, I've never understood. It's funny because I always looked at Tim and I was like, Tim is an objective cat. But then when I heard he said that James Harden is the best scorer since Michael Jordan, I said, dudes need to stop. That's just typical buffoonery on Tim Legler's part. And I'm like, you're showing bias, dude. And I'm like, what's so crazy for me is that Kobe's name somehow gets mentioned no matter what. So it's like people are saying, well, Kobe doesn't belong in the conversation, but it's like you're constantly bringing his name up. And he's like, even when you have no reason to bring his name up, you find a way to bring his name up. So what is that saying? I mean, I've already said my personal opinion on where I got Kobe, but it's like, again, you're helping his case by constantly bringing his name up. And like I said, we know what Kobe Bryant was, man. Kobe Bryant was that dude. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Kobe Bryant was that dude. And Like I said, you love him or hate him, Kobe was a beast on the court. And my issue with Kobe Bryant is the amount of disrespect that he constantly gets. There's no need to disrespect the man. It's like, yo, just leave him be. Like, it's the same thing what I'm gonna say with LeBron. Like, okay, he sometimes he gets a bad rap too. But like I said, LeBron is a beast. Like when LeBron is on, the man is a beast. So Tim Legler, I don't know if Kobe was messing with your girl. I don't know if Kobe didn't give you an autograph. Like, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what Kobe did to you. He put something in your drink and you got drunk and you had a hangover, whatever. But it's like James Harden is getting too much of this praise. And it's like what I could tell with James Harden is all of this scoring that he's trying to do. He's trying to blatantly get the MVP because he's still mad about Giannis Antetokounmpo getting that award over him when Giannis had more output and more impact than James Harden did. No disrespect to the brother. He's a great player. He's a great player. But if you really see what James Harden is doing, he's really being more selfish than people really give him credit for. And that's why with Tim Legler, I'm sorry, dude. I don't know what you're drinking, but he's not the best scorer since Michael Jordan. And we need to stop with that nonsense.
Facts.
Finito.
Facts, boy. This boy just came in here and dropped ether after ether after ether, man. So let's get on to the next topic, man. The Los Angeles Clippers. Lewis, I'm gonna let you get on the front end of this one, man. The Los Angeles Clippers are quietly doing their thing in the West, man. And this is with them having injuries. This is with them not being, you know what I'm saying, in their total vernacular of what they should have been from the jump. This is with them not having their full team doing everything that they're supposed to. Kawhi Leonard is on his load management. Paul George, since he's been back, he's been playing seamlessly. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's just been having quiet games, but they've been nice, quiet games. They blew out the Toronto Raptors. Kawhi Leonard had to remind them. Ever since that blowout, we've seen Alistair go to super foolish mode. He's pretty much disappeared because I think he realized when that 20-point blowout happened, it was it. That was a reminder. Kawhi Leonard was the reason why the Toronto Raptors are the way that they are. He was talking all that smack, and then all you see with the Toronto Raptors is they doing this. They're sinking and sinking and sinking. And we're going to get to the next topic, the dark horses, because we got to talk about the Miami Heat. That was one of them teams we kind of talked about them, but we didn't see them coming the way that they coming. But the Clippers, man, what's your take on them? Do you feel like now they're just starting to get their chemistry together? And how do you feel the forecast is going to look for them after the All-Star break?
Well, I mean, for the Clippers, I mean, let's look at it this way. You have Landry Shamet, who's been injured. You got your Michael Green, who's been out. You also have Ronnie Magruder, who's out as well. I think they have another player who's out. Well, Kawhi Leonard is going to have to find a way to get through this load management thing because it's going to be an issue all season. So he's going to have to play a little bit more than 60 games. And he's already missed 7. So that's going to be a problem. I think he doesn't personally care about that. But I'm just saying, like, in terms of going to have to be there a little more on the floor. He's going to have to get rid of that. So Paul George, like I said, Paul George was a beast last year, when Russell let him do his thing. And I think that Paul George has fit in seamlessly well. I agree with that. They've had their mixture of bad games. And I know people have been getting on these guys because it's like playoff. They question, because my question for them is going to be, how long is Kawhi's health going to last? And hopefully he can stay healthy. And then number 2, are we going to see playoff P again? So you got to put those questions into mind. Now, what I'm going to say is this. With those 3 players injured, Paul George missing the first 11 games of the season, Kawhi Leonard missing 7 due to load management, yet the Clippers are 19-7. And they're playing the Timberwolves tonight, so that if they win, they'll be 20-7. That will still put them 3.5 games behind the Lakers. With everything that's going on, they'll still only be 3.5 games behind the Los Angeles Lakers. And remember, these guys play on Christmas. So we know that that's going to be a big, huge game. I said this once before, a fully healthy Clippers team. Now, even though they're missing in my opinion, they're missing a big guy, a rim protector. I think when this Clipper team is fully healthy, you still got Lou Williams. You got Montrezl Harrell. You got, my only issue with Zubac is he's got to stay out of foul trouble, but he's very productive when he's on the floor. Kawhi and PG, This Clipper team is going to make a run when they're healthy, and I still think that they have a run in them. And my opinion is it's not going to happen now, in my opinion, but I think it's going to happen maybe sometime late January, February, and we might possibly see a post-All-Star break. A fully healthy Clippers team is a scary, dangerous juggernaut, all-time great defense waiting to happen, because we saw it against Toronto. Yeah, Toronto missed some shots. They did miss some shots, and I got to give kudos to the Toronto Raptors. They played better than I've expected to. But the Clippers, once they get acclimated and once they get healthy, this is going to be a scary, and when I tell you scary, a scary basketball team that you are not going to want to face come postseason time.
Facts.
They're going to be scary.
Richy Rich, talk to us, man. What's your take on the Clippers quietly doing their thing with all of the issues that they got facing?
Yeah, shouts out to Lewis, man. It's been a while, brother. Good to have you back. Yeah, man. He went in on them topics.
Damn right he did.
Also told facts about the Clips. Yeah, I'd like to see Kawhi play more games because, like, just like Lewis said, he's already sat out 7. But to him, the main goal is to, be there for the playoffs because they're gonna do serious damage. What I like about their potential, what I like about this team is their ability to ramp it up defensively. We know they got guys like Kawhi, PG that could put the ball in the hoop, Will that could put the ball in the hoop. Even surprisingly, an underrated player that people weren't paying attention to, Montrezl Harrell, man. That guy's like a mini KG, man. That's who he reminds me of. He's not 6'11" or 7 foot, but he's like 6'8", 6'9". He's a solid player. This guy's averaging about 18, 19 points for him at the power forward position. No one would have thought no one was even paying attention to this guy. You know what I'm saying? So that's another weapon that they have offensively. But their ability to ramp up defensively, man, I think they're gonna have a perimeter defense, man, that no other team has. That's the edge they have over these other teams. To where these guys could come in. They've shown you a glimpse of what they're able to do. Where they can lock you up, man. They've shown these games when they went to go play at Dallas. Luka, they locked up Luka, man.
Mm-hmm.
The first game when they played the Lakers, LeBron James had about 8, 9 turnovers in that game. He scored 18 points.
18 points.
Anthony Davis was playing well in the first half, but in the second half they bottled him up. Because they have that ability, man, to just turn it up defensively. They could throw. They got Kawhi, PG, man, and these guys. PG was the steals leader. He was number 1, number 2 last year. Plus, you already know him, man. He's one of those the better two-way players in the league. And you put him with Kawhi, who's, in my opinion, when he really wants to be, he's the best perimeter defender in the league. Also, one of the top 3 players in the game. It's KD, LeBron, Kawhi, or any other order you look at it. I personally put Kawhi over LeBron right now because LeBron is at 35. There's things he can't do on the court at that age.
I know you like, but you got to get on Freddie Gee, though.
Freddie Gee.
He always throwing them digs at you, though.
Hey, Freddie Gee, man, go. That's your thing, boy. You don't watch these games. You probably just watch Laker games, so you don't even you probably don't even care about the other cats on the Lakers right now. You just LeBron. You move to any team that he's on. Like you could give a damn what about the other players on the team. So I can't take your opinion seriously. You don't follow these other players in the league. So you should next. That's what you should be texting. I'm not even gonna address you, bro. This man. Watch the Clippers, man, and you gonna know who Montrezl Harrell is, bro. You crazy coming with stuff like that. Next, all right. Yeah, like I said, and plus they have Will, like we've been talking about in the past few weeks about that dude being a walking bucket, man. Some of the games that dude has had this season, man. the Clips are a scary team, and that the scary thing is they're still figuring themselves out because PG and Kawhi Leonard, man, they've only played about 10 games together. PG was out, the first few weeks in the NBA, and Kawhi Leonard's been missing, back-to-back games. But as the season goes on, man, these guys are gonna figure each other out. Their defense is gonna get better. Their ability to know who wants a shot at a certain spot is gonna get better. And their playmaking down the stretch is gonna get better, man. And that this is why in my eyes they're the favorites. Barring any injuries, they are the favorites, man, because of their ability to play defense at a high level. No one has a roster like that, and it's gonna show in the postseason when you're asking these guys to get stops, and they're gonna be able to get them for you. Facts. I see nobody on these other teams, the Lakers, the Rockets, the Milwaukee Bucks, that has these type of perimeter defenders. And I even forgot Beverly. Beverly, to me, he's like a gimmick defensive player. He's not a guy that's gonna go and get steals and stuff like that. But he's the type of player that could get in a player's head, make put pressure, put play like that annoying style of defense. It might cost him, or it might help the team out. He's a gamble player. That's how I look at him. But he's definitely a guy that's gonna help them out in those areas. So they have, and Harrell, he's a good defender as well. You know what I'm saying? So they really have 4 good defensive players on that team, man. They're versatile. Plus they got some young, hungry guys off the bench. That's ready to help that team out. Let's see what Freddie D got to say. Yeah, listen. You not, if you was a basketball fan, then you wouldn't have made that comment about Harrell. People, NBA pundits were talking about him, especially after that series that they had with the Golden State Warriors. Where they brought the Warriors to 6 games. Lou Will and not just Harrell were balling out in that series. Yep. You came with that crazy comment, man. If you knew about that player, you wouldn't have come out and say with that comment like that. That guy's an underrated player, man. That guy is balling out. He's averaging 19 points a game coming off the bench. I don't know why don't just assert him as a starter. But I see what they're doing. They want to make sure they have that bench scoring. They have that right balance. They got Lou Will and they got Harrell coming off the bench. They have that right balance. So because they already got Kawhi and PG in the starting lineup, they just want to make sure they have that bench going when those 2 guys are sitting out, which is a good strategy from Doc Rivers. But in my eyes, as the season goes on, that team is going to get scarier and scarier, man, because of their ability to defend. Offensively, we know they got shot takers. We know they got guys that can hit impactful shots. But it's going to come down to defense. Who can get stopped? And that team, man, I got my eye on that team. I got my money on them.
Facts. All right. Let's talk about the 2 dark horse teams in the Eastern Conference and in the Western Conference. The dark horse team to me in the Eastern Conference is the Miami Heat. I expected the Miami Heat to be anywhere between the 6th and 8th seed. But man, number 3, 18-7. At home, 11-1. Obviously, their road work could be better, 7-6, and they just lost their last game. But still, the fact that in their conference they're 13-2, and their win percentage so far in the NBA season is 72%, gotta give them credit, man. And they're only 4.5 games behind Milwaukee Bucks, man. You gotta give them credit. And the other dark horse team, we did mention that team. We expected them to be where they were at. We said they were going to be in the top 5, but they're number 3, the Dallas Mavericks. I want you guys' take on these dark horse teams, man, and how you feel that these dark horse teams are going to do respectively in the playoffs. Lewis, I'm going to let you chime in on this one first, bro. What's your take on these 2 teams, man?
Well, first of all, you got to give the Dallas Mavericks a lot of credit for coming out and being better than I expected. The funny thing is I expected Dallas to be fighting for those bottom playoff spots because I knew they were going to be better once they got Porzingis and having Powell and Finney Smith and those guys and Luka Doncic being a better player, I did not expect them to be a third seed in the Western Conference, so I give them a lot of credit. I think with Dallas, they're still lacking experience, though, for me. And I think that in this playoffs, the problem is that unless KP, again, gets better and he can really complement Luka, defenses are going to be able to get on Luka, especially in a 7-game series, because all the teams know that Luka does everything. And you even in that game that they went against the Sacramento Kings, before the Mavericks started to come back, they were struggling, and that was because Luka wasn't hitting shots. And not only was he not hitting shots, but the issue was that because he was really he was one of the guys struggling, and Sacramento kind of really took advantage, pretty much shooting the ball, man. The Mavericks really struggled when everything is centered around Luka. So that's why I said that Porzingis has got to come in and be that guy, and he's going to have to be a little more consistent in order for Dallas to be, in order for Dallas to go deep. But I just think right now it's not their time. They've had a very nice year, but I just think with the way the West is, I think there's some better matchups for them that they're going to really struggle. And I think that Dallas, if they get the right matchup, they could possibly go to the second round. And that's the thing, the right matchup to where Luka Doncic can go off without him being heavily guarded, to where defense is going to be geared towards stopping him. So if that's the case, because other guys are going to have to step up. And I just don't know if they have those kind of players that are going to be able to step up when the lights are on in the postseason. But I still give Dallas credit to be where they're at. I got to see also where they're going to be by All-Star break to, late in the season to see if this team is going to be for real. But shout out to Dallas, though. They've been great, and Luka's been unbelievable. Now to the Miami Heat. Listen, I've been talking about Dallas, but I've actually been really more impressed with the Miami Heat, because this is a team that's developed their players very well. When you look at pieces like Bam Adebayo, you got Kendrick Nunn. They drafted Tyler Hero, and he's been good for them. You have Jimmy Butler has come in, and he's been a very good leader for this team. He's a guy that, and the thing is, he likes the Miami Heat culture because Jimmy Butler is about working hard, and that's what he appreciates. And that's when you got guys like Eric Spoelstra, and when you guys got guys like Pat Riley. That's the type of culture that Jimmy Butler was looking for, that he wanted to play under, because it's about work ethic for Jimmy Butler. It's about guys coming in working real hard. Look, Bam Adebayo was the 14th pick in the draft in 2017. Kendrick Nunn was undrafted. He was undrafted. And those guys are contributing, and they've developed a lot faster than people really give them credit for. Tyler Hero was doing great in preseason, and he's really done well coming into the regular season. We can't even forget Goran Dragic is out right now. And the thing is, they've kept their principles. They've been a great defense. The only thing that they're really missing is a second star to complement Jimmy, so that when he goes out, they have a second guy who could still could take over the game. But defensively, they've been great. And I honestly think that they're going to be in there till the end, as long as they avoid any injuries, and if they could pick up another piece. The Miami Heat I can honestly see them. It's possible that they're my dark horse team to reach the Eastern Conference Finals. It's very possible for this team, considering where they're at.
I could see that.
Very, very possible, because I got the Bucks. I'm not too confident in Philadelphia. And then you got to have Boston as that other team, because they've played better than what I originally thought also. Right. But my Miami, this dark horse team, people really need to watch. Even though they lost their last game, they had an 11-game home win streak, and like you were saying, HeKnows, they could be better on the road. So they got to work on their road record. But home has been very good to them. They just got to bring it on the road. My issue with them, though, and I can see it, and it was against the Lakers tonight when I was doing the live. Yep. They have a tendency to lack poise when they play well, whether it especially when they play the first half really strong, because they've had some blowouts this year. Mm-hmm. But it's easy when you have a blowout that you start to take the foot off the gas pedal.
Yep.
And then you start to do things that you get away from that you were doing in the first half. So they just need to pay a little more attention to detail and be a little more focused Because they were moving the ball beautifully against LA in the first half, and LA was turning the ball over like crazy. But then they got away from that. LA stepped up their defense. They played really well. And then Miami was just trying to kind of stay with them. So I think with them, they just have to be better disciplined on both ends of the floor. And I think a more disciplined Miami Heat. And like I said, I give them credit at the fact that they've won 72% of their games, 18-7. Very impressive. And I'm looking forward to see what this Miami Heat team is going to be doing further down the line in this season. And I'm hoping that Jimmy Butler gets a second star, because I think that they're just a piece or two away from really contending for an NBA title. So that's my take on those two dark horses right there. I think the Heat have a better shot considering the conference that they're in compared to Dallas, especially with the fact that some of these teams in the East have kind of been disappointing. But that's pretty much my take on it. With Miami.
And what's your take on them playing Dallas next? Because that's the next game on the road. We talking about two dark horse teams.
That it's a big game for both teams because you want to see where you measure yourself. I mean, you're facing. I mean, listen, I gave the Lakers a lot of credit for being an 18-6 Miami Heat team that played better than expected. So I think this is a bigger test for Miami just because they're going to be in Dallas. So I think it's important that Miami gets a win against a Western Conference final opponent to show that they were able to bounce back and beat a very good Dallas Maverick team. Dallas is not as good defensively as the Lakers are, but they're still got to be able to show me that they could defend Luka Doncic. And if they do that, and don't let Dallas go off for any three-point shooting, because Dallas has one of the better benches in the league as well. They're actually third in the league in bench points. I think Clippers are number one once again. But if they do a very good job and somehow nullify that bench, the Heat, like I said, if they just pay attention to detail and show poise on the road, because they showed a lack of poise at home, and they look like they really had a tough time with the Lakers. But this is, to me, is a huge game for Miami to really show how they stack up against the Western Conference, because they kind of failed this test with LA. They hung with them, give them credit, but now I want to see them bounce back against Dallas. So I think it's a big game for both teams. But I think more so with Miami to see if they're legit, if they look like they could be a legit contender and running for that East crown this year.
Rich, man, what's your take on these dark horse teams, man? The Dallas Mavericks and the Miami Heat. And if you got anything you want to address earlier before that, go ahead, man. The floor is yours, bro.
Yeah, man. You brought some great points, Lewis, about your dark horse teams. I wanted to address Freddie G right away about Montrezl Harrell. I mean, you in the comments, he brought up some great points. You're like, the guy does work well in the pick and roll. KG worked well in a pick and roll situation with point guards. When I'm talking about Harrell, reminds me of I would never compare him to KG. KG is one of the best power forwards to play the game. I'm talking about his intensity, his energy on the floor. That's what I'm talking about. And Montrezl Harrell, he's better than he's a better version of Kenneth. I wouldn't even compare him to Kenneth Faried. He has better touch, and he can actually shoot a mid-range shot. And the guy is a better defender than Kenneth Faried. He's a more impactful player than Kenneth Faried. But the reason why I'm comparing him to KG is because of his mannerisms on the floor. That's how he reminds me of KG, because how he acts on the floor. I'm not comparing him to KG's body of work. KG is a more craftier player, and you can't compare Harrell to KG. Come on, man. It's like me trying to compare. Let's think of a player right now. James Harden to no, I'm not gonna use that topic. Rodney Hood to Kobe Bryant. I'm not gonna do that. Come on, man. So I'm just talking about their mannerisms on the floor. He reminds me of he's a mini KG because he brings some energy. He brings like intensity, and the Clippers need that from him. He's a solid player. When has Kenneth Faried ever dropped 19 points a game in a season? Never. Come on, think about that, Freddie G.
I think he's in line with what you're saying. His comment, he talks about the intensity. He said, "Oh yeah, intensity. I thought you meant skill wise and moves, but I see what you're saying now." So yeah, man, you can go ahead into that dark horse. It's always good, man, because Lewis is the master of doing that. It's always good to clarify. So I'm glad you clarified it. So yeah, man, your dark horse, man. They're playing next, the Dallas Mavericks and the Miami Heat. Lewis brought up a great point and said that that's going to be a barometer. I agree vehemently with Lewis that the Miami Heat needs to win that game at least so that they can prove that they're serious, man. What's your take on both of these dark horse teams, man?
Yeah, Dragon Spirits left a comment on there.
Yeah.
I was just trying to make a point to Freddie G. That's all. Yeah, you get it. Yeah, like Lou. I mean, my dark horse is I gotta agree with Lewis in the West. Like my dark horse at that time, I thought it was gonna be Denver, man. But Denver, they've been disappointing and show that they lack maturity on that team because
Mm-hmm.
the young guys leading that team, they're not ready to excel to the next level. Jokic coming into the season out of shape, and the point guard, man, he's not. He's not really a guy that could like make other players better yet.
Mm-hmm.
Their starting point guard.
Yep.
He could score the basketball, but he's not a guy that could make players better yet. So I still think they're some years away. And Michael Porter Jr., they're
Under,
waiting on him. That kid
underperforming.
has
Underperforming.
underperforming. He has potential, but that year that he missed last year,
Mm-hmm.
uh, showed that it was huge, was vital. They needed him to play last year to get that type of experience so that he can, carry on from that experience and be a better player for them this year. So they're behind the curve. So that team, they're not my dark horse. It's Dallas because Luka Doncic, man, the ability that he's showing right now, that they could make some noise. They're not gonna win a title, but they're definitely gonna make some noise in the playoffs with what he's able to do, man. Yeah, Jamal Murray, that's the guy I'm talking about. Thanks for coming out with his name. He knows. But yeah, Dallas, they have shooting. They have they got big men that could play, tough. I like that dude that plays alongside Porzingis, Powell. He reminds me of Udonis Haslem. When back in the day with Dwayne Wade, he's a guy that hustles, man. He's not like a star in the game, but I remember when they played the Lakers. He was the only one that Rick Carlisle was trusting him with the assignment to guard Anthony Davis one-on-one. He wasn't throwing help. He wasn't throwing like help to this guy. He was just giving him the assignment to guard Anthony Davis. Yeah, Anthony Davis was putting buckets on him, but he was making Anthony Davis work for every one of them shots, man. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, this guy Anthony Davis giving this dude buckets, but this dude is making Anthony Davis work, man. And yeah, I remember that's what Udonis used to do back in the days, and when in Miami, man, when D-Wade was balling out. They had Antoine Walker on that team, Shaq. Udonis Haslem was a hustler, man. He used to play some stout defense. They got some solid guys on that team. They got Stephen Curry's brother who could shoot. They got Tim Hardaway Jr., Tim Hardaway's son. They got that Finley Smith dude. He be hitting threes. He be playing solid defense.
Mm-hmm.
They got Porzingis. They got Powell. They even got Maravich, that 7'3" center. He's solid. He comes off and he provides good minutes off at the center position. So they have a team that could make noise. They could be a dark horse. They're not gonna go anywhere deep, but I could see them going to the second round, depending on who they play in the
Mm-hmm.
first round. They could probably knock out a solid team. Now, my East dark horse is the Boston Celtics, man. I can't put the Heat there because I
That's
just
a good
think
one.
their players are too young. Their players are not seasoned yet. But I like what they have. Pat Riley, man, he definitely put himself ahead of the curve with the moves that he made this season because he got some rookies, man, that's gonna give him the dividends in the future. in the very near future, but they're not ready yet. But Boston Celtics, man, I just think that now they got Gordon Hayward back.
Mhm.
They're gonna start, getting themselves back in order. They got them guys that's been to the Eastern Conference Finals. Without Kyrie, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. They got those guys, man. Continuity, chemistry, and
Mhm.
Kemba Walker has shown that he's fitting well with these guys. They
Yep.
got a solid record, man. He's been playing well with these guys, so they just need to pick up another. They gotta pick up a center or somebody, man, to help them out, because I don't know if they have solid big man depth on that team. They might have to pick up a center, some guy that can help them get some easier points on the interior, get them blocks, get them rebounds, but they got to address that. But their team, man, they could be scary depending on, how if these guys peak in the latter part of the season. They could scare the Bucks. They beat the Bucks
Facts.
without Kyrie Irving. So I mean, if it's a team that's going to challenge the Bucks for that conference, I think it is the Boston Celtics, man. I don't think it's the Sixers. That
Facts.
team could be a dark horse in that conference.
That was a good one because Lewis mentioned them as one of the upper echelon teams, but they could be a hybrid. They could be an upper echelon team and a dark horse when you think about it, because of the fact that they don't really have a superstar. And you got to give Brad Stevens his credit as a coach, man, because every year he's been systematically getting better with the X's and O's. And I think he's gotten ingratiated in that Boston Garden, Boston Celtics, mindset as a head coach. So he has to get credit. I'm going to give him credit for that. The Pacers could have been a dark horse team, but we still got to wait till Victor Oladipo come back for us to really know where they're at. So we're not wrong about the Pacers that we mentioned, but we'll wait and see. In terms of Denver, we did say it, man, but Lewis and Dragon Spears, they hit it on the thumb, man. They've been disappointing. They haven't been playing the way that they're supposed to. This was supposed to be an up and up year. So Freddie Gee, salute to you, man, because you've been saying all along the Denver Nuggets ain't going to do nothing. So far, because remember, we're not even halfway into the season. So far, you've been right. Now we're about to close it out, man. Lewis, definitely just let me know, man, whenever you got your live set up, you want me to participate, just let me know, man. Send me an email. I'm down to go over there, man, and jump on your lives, bro. Just let me know, bro. But
Yeah, real quick.
Go ahead.
I just want to say this. When I watch Denver play, this is the reason I've been very disappointed with them. They've for me, I don't know what kind of offensive sides of the ball. Because last year they were 6 and offensive and defensive efficiency. This year, problem is now they dipped all the way to 16. When I look at Jokic, he just lacks a lot of intensity. He's coming into camp. He came out of shape into the season. And like Richard pointed out with these young guards, it's like they're kind of playing, but it's just kind of like I said, they don't really have an identity. Like they don't even know who you are. And it's like when I look at Michael Porter Jr., he looks very lost out there. And it's like he's still trying to find himself and see like where does he fit on this basketball team. Because when I see him play, it's like he's just missing a lot of. There's just a lot of like simple things that he could just, simple things that he does. It's like it's difficult for him. And I feel like that he's just kind of lost out on the floor. He has the talent and he has the potential, but he just has to continue to grow his IQ and feel comfortable and acclimated with what Denver's trying to do. But they really don't know what they are. And what's disappointing is the biggest key for me, they don't have a true alpha. They don't have an alpha. They don't have a guy that can take over a game. You keep thinking it's Jokic. You might think it's Jamal Murray. You might think it's Gary Harris. That's not happening. Look, they have the talent. They got Malik Beasley. They have Monte Morris, Will Barton. This team is loaded and they're deep. Mason Plumlee coming off the bench and being a playmaker big. But the problem is they don't have a guy that take over a game. It's a guy who doesn't demand the basketball and let me take that game over when they can. And that's why I think – and that's why I said that, they were looked at as a dark horse team. I mean, Freddie Gee was right, and shout out to him for calling out for it. But it's like when I watched them play, they've been very confusing because they've taken so many drastic steps down offensively. But part of the problem is that they don't even know what sets they're running. Like, I don't even know. They don't really have a set. They don't really know what they are. And they don't have a true alpha. They don't have an identity, and they don't have that guy. And Jokic is showing me that he's not that guy. And I don't think he's comfortable being that guy. Because his numbers had more organic impact last year, and you were thinking that he was starting to be that. But that hasn't happened this year. And to me, I don't know what is going to be about this team, but that's my issue when I watch them play, especially in close games.
Yeah,
it's like they don't even know.
Yeah, you're right, man. If he's not careful, he can end up like Kevin Love. Remember how Kevin Love early on, he was just giving us high exploits and high exhibitions of, okay, this guy's going to be a walking double-doubles, you know what I'm saying? He's going to sit there and he's going to put up points. And then he just became what he was, a guy that just puts up numbers, a guy that can't just take the team over the top, and he ended up becoming a third wheel when he got with the Cleveland Cavaliers. If Joker is not careful, man, that's what could end up becoming his career. So he's just gonna have to take himself serious, and he's just gonna have to dedicate himself and just try to work. Because one thing about basketball that you can always work on is the mechanics. If you focus and you work on your mechanics, you can get better. You know what I'm saying? And discipline yourself, man, because he can't be coming in from the off season partying like he was he in Amsterdam or something like that? You can't be partying like that and then bringing your butt back into the season 70, 80 pounds overweight, man. I mean, that's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Him and Joel Embiid need to go ahead and slap themselves because they both had to work their way back into shape throughout the course of the season. And when you do that, that just speaks volumes of where you're at as an NBA player mentally, man, because these are the guys that we look at. I mean, this is why Joel Embiid is not performing at the level that he was at. I mean, almost 28 points, almost 14 rebounds. And look at the dip. Look at the drop-off. Same thing with Joker, man. I mean, they just need to step this thing up. So it is what it is, man. But, yeah, Lewis, I meant it, man. When I said it, bro, just let me know, man. Call my jersey. I'll be there, man. Whatever live you got set up, just let me know, bro. So, yeah, man, we're going to close this thing out, man. Richy Rich, you'll start off. And then, Lewis, I'll let you get on the back end. Talk to us, man.
Shouts out to HeKnows, Lewis. Thanks, Lewis, for coming. We haven't seen in a while, man. We always appreciate your input on the show. You provide that, that good energy, man, to the show. You bring that philosophy, kind of like, that insight that we need on the show. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely appreciate every time you make an appearance, man. We muchly appreciate it. But it was a good show. We appreciate, you guys in the live comments. We brought up some good topics. We kind of mixed it up a little. Brought some energy up on Luka Doncic and some other teams this time. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. Looking forward to Sunday's show. Hopefully you guys were able to, come on and give good feedback, can be a part of that show. Hopefully you guys, have a good weekend. And whoever can't come to the Sunday show, enjoy the rest of your week. And we're going to do this again next week. Take care.
Lewis, man, before you go, man, I appreciate that heat and that fire that came out your mouth, man. NBA Encyclopedia showed up and shut it down. That's the thing. Lewis could just go on and on and on and on and just carry this thing by himself. So appreciate you coming in, man, and dropping that thunder, man, because that's what you did. You dropped that thunder and you dropped that damn hammer, bro. Talk to us, man.
Well, first of all, shout out to HeKnows the Sport and shout out to Richy Rich, man. Good to be back on the panel, man. Shout out to the chat. This was a wonderful stream right here on this basketball talk game. And I brought in that Thor hammer right now. So so I came here coming at Thor. And once again, I appreciate you guys. And like I said, man, I just came off of basketball live, so I was doing Lakers and Heat. So I've been doing play-by-play commentary. So that's something I'm doing more of that. And shout out to everybody coming through, man. This was a good one. Looking forward to more of these. And like I said, man, and you can catch on the LBFW. Like I said, we're doing a lot of stuff, man. I'm doing Christmas game, doing a lot of good games coming up. Looking forward to the Celtics Mavericks game coming up on Wednesday. Make sure to stay tuned to that. And like I said, man, just you guys want to come and subscribe, man. And like I said, truly appreciate you guys for just listening to us and kicking it in with us on HeKnows Sports channel, man. So WN if you haven't checked us.
Yeah, man. Y'all check out LBFWN, man. Check out that brother's channel, man. You know what I'm saying? I always got respect for the brother because I know that he has a basketball encyclopedia mind. He loves the sport of basketball. You know what I'm saying? And there's just always been mutual respect from the jump. Shout outs to Freddie Gee. I see the proteges in the building. Kev Cook, a new face. You know what I'm saying? If you subscribe to the channel, man, if you're not, subscribe to the channel, brother, because we bringing that heat and that fire. Just like Lewis is bringing that thunder and that damn hammer. That should be his moniker. We bringing that heat and that damn fire, man. So just continue to look out, Dragon Spears. We appreciate your presence. You know what I'm saying? Tom Ross TV. No, you couldn't be here, bro. We appreciate you. Everyone that showed up on the chat, you know what I'm saying? Augustus Haynes, everyone, man. Beast Mode 314, you know what I'm saying? Roy Babineau, everyone that showed up, you know what I'm saying? Sly Time, you know what I'm saying? James Daggs, the list goes on and on and on. Respective Boxing, everyone that showed up, we appreciate you guys. Y'all just continue to check us out. We coming back with that basketball on Sunday again. Lewis, just let me know, man. You know what I'm saying? After this, when you want me to show up, man, I'm going to show up and show out, man. So appreciate all y'all. Y'all have a great Friday. You know what I'm saying? Y'all do y'all thing. And the NBA is just getting started. And this season, I know we in good hands. That's why I can't wait for the LaFoolery to be done. This is the first show that we did. We did not address LeBron James. If you notice, we did not address LeBron James. But guess what? Sunday, we pulling the Band-Aid off. We pulling the mask off, and we coming right back on that ass because I'm sick and tired. And Lewis, I want your take on it, brother. I'm sick and tired of Anthony Davis with all that damn heavyweight lifting he's doing. He's not getting the credit that he deserves, man. He should be the NBA MVP frontrunner on that team, not LeBron James. So y'all be easy. Y'all take care, man. Y'all have a great Friday. Subscribe and go check out Lewis Basketball, Football, and Wrestling Network's channel. That brother's deep. He's an NBA encyclopedia. Richy Rich, appreciate your consistency and your support. I'll see y'all on Sunday if I'm not already on one of Lewis's lives. So be easy. Peace. Have a great Friday. Peace.
Peace out.